I'm glad you showed up today, here on the 5th anniversary of September 11th. 5th anniversary, thank you. Here's the text I want to speak from. You all know about popular mechanics' pursuit of the non-truth on 9/11. Here is their recently published book, Debunking Us, Debunking 9/11 Myths, so-called. Why conspiracy theories can't stand up to the facts. Well, early on, when I looked at this book, I looked at the back, the index, to see if they referred to Battalion Chief Oriel Palmer, who you will recall we have on tape reaching the 78th floor of WTC-2, and what did he say? He says, I got 2 isolated fires up here, dying, send up 2 lines, we'll knock them out. Within 8 or 9 minutes, the entire structure, estimated as much as 500,000 tons, went poof. Was that because of damage alleged from an aircraft and fires? These lame-o kerosene fires, if they were that indeed? No. So they never mention Oriel Palmer. They don't go to those inconvenient facts. Also of interest is, in the foreword, Senator John McCain, a major Republican candidate for president 2 years hence, Senator McCain has a foreword. And isn't it, to me, it's interesting that a major candidate is addressing 9/11. And of course, he's defending the official government conspiracy theory, as unprovable as it is, as lame as it is. And I want to do a little counterpoint, now that Senator McCain has deigned to visit us here today in Lafayette Park. And he opens up by saying, and I heard this earlier at the Kane Hamilton luncheon, no American living today will forget what happened on September 11, 2001. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what happened, even though I know it's an inside job. That's why I'm doing research on this issue. There's so many unknowns. Okay, Senator, what did happen? Of course, he's going to tell us 19 hijackers of arid extraction, armed with knives and mace and a threat of a bomb, boarded 4 airliners, 2 of which were unscheduled. And so therefore the official government database says they didn't occur. All right. Now, here are a couple things we can't agree with. And that bright morning, the Serenity was destroyed by a savage atrocity. Yes, 3,000 innocent civilians slaughtered for their own nefarious purposes, their global domination project. Isn't that right, sweetheart?
Not counting the deaths in Iraq after.
Oh, not to mention, yeah, well over 100,000, no doubt, in their, so far, 2 country invasions and counting. Okay, an act so hostile, says McCain, we could scarcely imagine any human being being capable of it. Your own guys, Senator. If you would speak the truth, it's our own guys. I'm not sure they're really our guys, but they are Americans. Who are dominating this operation, who dominated. Okay, America, we realized, was vulnerable and under attack. Ooh, be afraid, be very afraid. That's what they're telling us every day. What are we, an orange alert today? I don't know. Short of red, but we're under a terror alert. And then Senator McCain goes on with unity, united, a people united in a kinship. I'm not real fond of that word unity, but and he does say something of merit here. He says, committed to the notion that the people are sovereign. Yes, instead of this permanent powers that be, this invisible government that's ruled, in fact, for decades. Okay, as Americans, the senator goes on, we acted swiftly. We liberated Afghanistan. What? We invaded and occupied it as best we can, right? Of course, the Taliban and allies are retaking parts of it, and it's a matter of who controls during the day versus night. But yeah, we liberated Afghanistan. McCain doesn't mention Iraq, that we liberated Iraq. And you'll recall, what did they call that operation? OIL?
It's like saying
Judy,
liberated New Orleans.
OIL? Okay, they had to change that name. Now, the terrorists, says McCain, who attacked America were clear about their intentions. I don't get that, but of course he's defending the government conspiracy theory. There's no hint here at all of facts that would militate against his assumed policy position here, or his analytical position. And then, listen to this sentence from McCain. But through the evidence for Al-Qaeda's central, but though the evidence for Al-Qaeda's central role in the 9/11 attacks is overwhelming, the evidence for Al-Qaeda's central role in the attacks is overwhelming. Show me something. Where is your proof? Many have found the facts unsatisfying. Yeah, the second part of that sentence. Amen. Unsatisfying. Okay, and then McCain goes on, he says, many Americans have resisted the notion that an island nation far from our shores could launch a surprise attack against our Navy, the first Pearl Harbor, a surprise attack. When Thomas Kean, an hour ago, handled one of the questions, it was about, hey, why do more and more Americans suspect an inside conspiracy on 9/11? And he said, well, a lot of Americans still believe that FDR knew 6 months in advance about the original Pearl Harbor. Yes, we've proven that up. Thank you very much. See Robert Stinnett, for example. So this is nothing new, right? We can trace this back to Nero, false flag attacks, to get the foreign adventure that they want at the moment. Well, Operation Northwoods is a little closer in time to us, right? An operation that was vetoed by McNamara and probably JFK, but nonetheless signed off on by the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Okay, back to Senator McCain. A couple more quotes. Those unsatisfied with the ordinary truth of the attacks. What the heck was ordinary about 9/11? Ordinary truths. They have concocted stories more fanciful, more conspiratorial than the events as we know them. What's the most fanciful conspiracy theory extant? The government's. It's absolutely ludicrous. Well, all these lap dancing, pork eating, high drinking, cocaine snorting, dedicated advocates of Islam on their suicide mission. Why? What motivated these suicide hijackers? They hated our freedoms. I asked my wife, oh, how free are we? 1/8 free, she says. It used to be 1/4. Now, I love this term. Here's a new term from Senator McCain. He's introduced into the language. Conspiracy mongering. Conspiracy, you look it up. What is conspiracy? Conspiracy is an agreement to commit a nefarious, evil, or illegal deed. That's all it is. Everybody's a conspiracy theorist on 9/11. Why this is an issue, that shows you how they can keep playing that same chord on the banjo. Conspiracy theorist. Everybody is. Nobody believes one young Arab did it all, although we now have introduced the single plane theory, right? As a parody of the single bullet theory. Okay. Now I've got to choose what I think is the best of the remaining. I've got it all marked up. We, the alternative conspiracy theorists, ignore the methods of science, says Senator John McCain. The protocols of investigation and the dictates of logic. Au contraire, Senator. We're the ones that have the burden of proof. We're the ones that are dealing in facts. They're the ones spinning fiction. The 9/11 Commission, of course, made no attempt to prove the official government conspiracy theory, did they? They just spun the tale.
Yep.
I can remember looking at one of those early pages, and they just said, well, then these Arabs boarded the plane with their, well, what? With all this weaponry on them? How'd they get that on board? In other words, we had 19 failures in screening, security screening.
All at once.
And then, where are the security tapes? Right? I go to the 7-Eleven, I go to the bank, on. I'm taped dozens of times a day. And the Portland so-called tape, that's a farce. Then this reenactment they did at Dulles for alleged the unscheduled Flight 77. One example of planted evidence, suppressed evidence, and non-evidence after the other. And he has the nerve to say that we're the ones that violate all the methods of science. Okay, now, McCain, I've got to give him credit, has another true sentence here. He says, we have much to learn about September 11, 2001. Yeah, we do. How does that jive with his earlier sentence? We all know what happened on September 11, 2001. That was his opener. I need to introduce the author of this late sentence to the author of the early sentence. Okay, another true sentence. I've got to give him credit again. That is the debate we need to have in America. And we are almost, we're on the cusp, if not into the heart of it, where now, I did two little segments for Fox Channel News. In other words, they have to deal with us now. They have to deal with Jim Fetzer, etc., David Ray Griffin. So we're in stage 2, as Schopenhauer calls it, right? Stage 1, and they've had 4 years plus of silence. We're in stage 2 where they have to ridicule and scorn us, mock us. Stage 3, when everybody knows, accepts it. That's where we're headed. And it's fast forwarding. It's accelerating. Okay, and finally, he refers to those innocent thousands who deserve to be remembered with truth and honor. Amen to that. Who killed them? We've got to bring them to justice.
Who's continuing to kill?
Here, here.
Let me introduce Dr. Judy Wood, who is a PhD in engineering. She is a fantastic asset to our cause, and recently employed by Clemson University. And one of the things Judy told me recently was that Ace Baker, who puts out this great song called Blown to Kingdom Come. I think it's the best 9/11 song. It's a country music song. Ace Baker, who's a Chicago musician, says he's drafting one about Dr. Judy Wood. She's his hero. Thank you. Hey, come on, Judy.
Thank you. My story began on 9/11 when I saw what was happening on the TV set. It didn't look right. Buildings don't unravel. I thought to myself, what should it look like? And I looked at the TV set, nope, doesn't look like that. I looked around the room, and none of the other faculty members in the faculty conference room saw what I saw. They looked at me like they thought I was nuts, and implied that I was off my rocker. So I came up with a way of checking my sanity, and yes, I had to go check to make sure the coefficient of gravity hadn't changed from what I thought it was, and it hadn't. I checked several different physics books, just to make sure my memory hadn't been altered, but something was bad off or wrong. And I came up with this simple model that could explain it to about anyone. I recently presented that at an engineering conference in June, where I took a room full of those who'd never questioned 9/11 before, faculty in engineering, and they all left questioning what they were told on 9/11. At that same conference, there was a presentation given by Frank Gale from the NIST report. I couldn't believe it. Afterwards, I sort of went after him because it was just so outrageous. I said, you mean to tell me that you have asymmetrical damage, asymmetrical fires, and you lose all of the fireproofing around every single column, around the exterior of the building and around the core columns, all at the exact same time, and they all have the same thermal properties, So the building goes down symmetrically.
That's weird.
And he said, that's right, because you forgot. Gravity acts symmetrically.
Yeah, straight down.
You could hear audible gasps around the room. Don't they have a better story than that? The Emperor has no talking points.
And both buildings did that.
I was shocked, and so was everyone else in the room. Frank Gill left right after that. And right after that is when they canceled their appearance at the national debate. I think we know why.